Hello beautiful, my name is Mide and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. How you doing? If you're returning, welcome back to my channel. I appreciate that. So today I'm going to be talking about adding length to my locks. Okay, if you watched this video, my previous video on locks, where I talked about the disadvantages of short locks, there I kind of lamented on my feelings towards the short locks, the kind of challenges I was facing, and because of that I came up with this solution, adding length to the locks. I felt that is going to make me to overcome those challenges and make me to feel better towards my locks. I made a couple of research concerning the lock extension that I will be needing, and of course I thought about human hair lock extension, and I thought about synthetic hair lock extension. I have seen various videos on human hair lock extension and synthetic hair lock extension, and this is what I thought of them. Number one, the human hair lock extension that I saw, a couple of them were satisfied with it, but some were having challenges keeping it in place. Okay, especially those that are carrying Microlocs. And one thing again is that I hardly see people with Microlocs that added length to it. Okay, most were traditional locks, and so it was a bit of a challenge for me to actually see and visualize what I expect my locks to look like, except those that their locks had already grown out long. Okay, I'd even see, I think Snatched, I've forgotten her name right now, even though I'm a subscriber. She added length to, or is she not the one? She added length to her locks, but her locks is traditional. Okay, and there was one other person too that added length to her Microlocs, but she had to combine her locks, and I didn't want that. I did not want to combine my locks. I want it to remain tiny as they are. Another challenge that I noticed people facing was that there was one person that used human hair to extend her lock, but she complained about it slipping out after a couple of washes, even though she went to a loctician to have it installed. However, it must have been installed. It was definitely not properly done. Then another one was synthetic extension. A couple of people complained about the texture and the weight at the end of the day, how it feels on their head. And honestly, I feel that it is probably because of the thickness, and maybe they were not taking care of it in a proper way, because it will feel quite different from your natural locks. Okay, so I don't know, whatever it is, some of them were not satisfied with the way it turned out. Another thing is that because my hair was tinted, I went out during my research to look for lock extension that will match the color that I used to tint my locks, and it was quite difficult for me to get. The one that I got, I did not like the texture at all. I knew that I'll probably encounter a couple of challenges along the way, so I didn't want that at all, because I intend to keep my lock extensions in for a while. I opted for another one, and at the end of the day I realized that most of the synthetic lock extensions that I saw were not as tiny as my locks, and I didn't know how to go about that, being that number one, I did not want my lock extension to weigh my hair down and pull it at the root, which could result to thinning and breakage. I didn't want that, though some of them were quite light, but most of them, like the only one that I saw that was close to the size of my locks was quartz in texture and somehow rough. I didn't like it. My locks are not that locked yet. Like it's going to be 8 months, into my journey this month, and some of my locks are locked, some are not. Some are still soft towards the edge, towards the end of the lock, and the curls are still in, so it's not that locked compared to the lock extension I saw out. So I came up with this idea. Since I have ruled out human hair, one of the reasons why I ruled out human hair was because of the form in which the human hair comes. Like it's somehow in clumps, and you have to like stretch it and lock it. I feel that the procedure is too long and it's going to take a long time. Another thing is that since it is lumps of hair and you have to like crochet, lock it together, I feel that would be one of the reasons why the hair was pulling out or something like that. I'm not really sure. That's what I just assumed. So I ruled that out and I opted for synthetic hair. The synthetic hair that I eventually found and liked happens to be in color 1, and that is the reason why I had to dye my hair black. Okay, even though it came out looking so darker than I expected, but I tried to tone it down. Okay, and from my research, I had options of bleaching it to a degree, or using dye remover. Here in Nigeria, I couldn't get wet. Where I went to, I didn't want to wait to like buy it online. Another thing is that the bleach that I saw, it involves powder and some other things, and I knew that that's not going to work out well for locks. So I dumped the idea of bleach and now opted for clarifying shampoo. But since I had already used one and some of the dye came off, I still felt that I need something stronger. So I came across liquid dishwash. So I decided to use that because, guys, I was so desperate to reduce the intensity of the black. So I opted for that and I used it. Some of the dye came off, of course, but it left my hair so dry, like bone dry. Okay, very dry. So I had to just moisturize it a lot and added rose water, oil, all sorts, and like 3 of those, and left it in, a couple of times. That is what brought the hair back to its original form. Okay, so now because I did not get the size I wanted, I opted for this kinky synthetic hair. So I opted for this. This is how it comes. What I did with it is that I had to twist the hair loose. Like I loosely twisted the hair to form the lock and the size that I want. This idea came to me from the way I made my baby's lock. Like I did not twist her lock so tightly, it was loosely done, and at the end of the day I realized that the hair is locking. Those hair at the perimeter of her hair actually happens to be very soft and silky. In fact, I am now realizing that her hair is not entirely 4C. It's probably 4B, 4A, 4B, I don't know, 4B, 4C or 4A, 4C, because some of the locks at the edges of her hair are coming loose. They come loose quite often, but I'll lock it back, they come loose. I remember that method that I used, so I decided to use it with this particular hair. I'm going to show you how the hair looks like, very close to the way my 4C hair looks. This is the size I cut for the hair at the back. Like I have done like 60, 50 or 60 something locks at the back, and look at, I don't know, tightly curled like fussy hair is the kinky hair. I made a couple of sizes because I know that the size of my locks are not uniform, because I did it myself, so I didn't put that into consideration. So this is what I came up with. How I achieved this is that I tied a rope, a thin rope at the back of my chair, and I'll loop the hair. Like I got a strand like this. This is actually too thick, thicker than what I got. So I got strand like this, and loop it round the thread this way, and now twist it loosely. I got a couple, like I have like 90 pieces here. This is about 90 pieces that I have here. I have done like 60 already at the back. And then the reason why I twisted it loosely, like I said, is because I noticed that they kind of swell and lock faster that way. The method that I'm using to attach the extension to my lock is not one method actually. I use like 3 to 4. The very first one I used, I'm not going to be using that again because it does not appear that neat. Let me show you. Okay, so if you look at this one, I hope you can see it. This is where my hair ended, this place, and this is the extension. Like, look at it. I didn't like the way this one came out because I can feel the point of attachments, and I know that when I'm interlocking it's going to disturb, so I didn't like this method that I used. This second method, because of some of the locks that are somehow soft and loose towards the tip, so what I did was to separate it, and now added this lock in between. I opened up the locks like this. And I added it to the lock. Let me see. Some of my locks are now hard, but a couple, just a few, are still loose. Right now I can't find anyone that is loose, but anyone that is loose that I come across, I kind of loosen it a bit, separate it, and I will then twist the lock, the hair with it, and twist it all the way. Then I will now do the interlocking to lock it in so that it doesn't slip out. But what I noticed about the method is that some parts of the joint are so soft and the curls are too defined. Like I could not control how loose the twist were when I do it on my hair. And then another thing is that it was pulling my hair too much, guys. That is one of the reasons why I had to stop, because my scalp became so tender that I had to stop. It became so painful. I had to stop for a while to allow it to like relax before I will start all over again. I just felt that I should come up and still discuss about it, because I realized that if I should finish everything and come up to do the video is going to be so lengthy, and of course nobody likes that actually. Okay guys, I usually forget to tell you guys to like my video. Okay, please just give me a thumbs up in this video if you like anything in this video. I usually forget and it's not even helping me at all. Don't forget to like my video. Okay, all right. What was I saying? Some of my locks are braided towards the end. The twist on some are still like soft and I could still see the strip, but meanwhile some are locked. Okay, some are locked. The state at which I find the lock is the method I am applying. Like the ones that are braided, Okay, like this one. Any lock that I find braided, I don't know, I will get one of the locks. I use the tiniest hook that I could get, so I will insert the hook into the first loop. Then I will get for a braided locks towards the end, and the locks that are actually hard. This is the method I use to install it. I will use this hook to pull my own hair into the extension. Let me show you an example. Okay, this particular lock is hard, but I'm not sure it is braided. It's hard. So what I do to this type of lock is that I will use the hook to pull the extension into my hair like this. Then I will leave it at the point that is hard. So I will now insert the hook into my own lock like this and use it to pull in the extension into the lock. See, that way the extension is secured in the lock. Only the locks that are hard. If the lock is hard and if it is braided, that is what I use. So I now go all the way, insert the hook again into my own lock, then I'll pull it out again. Do not pull the extension too hard, because your hair is more delicate than the synthetic hair. The synthetic hair is stronger. That is just the difference between my own hair and the synthetic hair. Apart from that, all other characteristics are similar, like the curls and the color. The difference is the strength. They're not the same. So I'm going to go all the way towards the end of my lock. If you pull the extension too hard, you are likely to cut your own lock or weaken it. All right, and you don't want that. I made sure that I interlock the extension up to the tip of my own lock, such that at the end of the day you can hardly see the difference. And because I dyed my hair, so it blends so well with it. I'm going to be doing the second. This is the second one I picked. Sometimes I will insert the hook through my hair into the extension and interlock it like that, if I'm able to, since most of the time I kind of do it, you know, blindly, since I can't see most of it. And that is it, guys. If I come across any lock that the tip is still loose, what I do is that I braid it with the extension, all right, before I will now interlock it towards the end of my own lock. All right, if you twist the extension with your own hair, it's going to be a bit loose, not even a bit, it's going to be loose and soft. So you need to interlock it, all that part that is long, you need to interlock it. Those are the methods that I'm using to install the extension, and I am by no means done at all, because I have for the fact that I have 281 locks and I've only done like 60 something, I still have a lot that I need to do. These are like 90 something pieces of extension that I made. In my next video, I'll continue the installation there and show you guys what I do, what I'm going to be doing to the locks at the front. And I still want to like add colors to the extension so that it's not just stark black all over. I like a little bit of color pop like what I had previously. Okay, so don't forget to like, give me a thumbs up. Like, I'm always forgetting to even ask people to like my video, and it's affecting me in a way. So please don't forget to, if you watch this video up to this end, please don't forget to like my video. I appreciate it. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.